Good morning, students. My name is Peter and my surname is Kewo. I will be your tutor for visual arts for your diploma in junior primary education for the year 2019. That means that with your assignments that some of you have already started with and the exams that you will be doing throughout the year, I will be the right person or the person that is mandated to guide you through the year of 2019 while you are preparing for those specific tasks. That means your assignments, when you are doing your assignment, contact me on my contacts that are appearing in your assignment book or on my email address that is appearing on your screen now. That is pkewo@gmail.com, or you can SMS. Now, if you go into your study guides, you will learn that at the early beginning of your study guide, you will see something called table of contents. Those are the contents that can be found in your book. In other words, table of contents, it's a summary or a brief summary of what is you are expecting to learn about in your book. So your book consists of 6 different units, and under each and every unit there is subtitles that you will need to learn. But because as you know that this is just a slideshow and there is a very brief or short summary of what is in your book, please bear in mind that we have only selected some critical points that we think that will be important to assist you as you are preparing for your assignments and for your exams. Unit 1 in your table of contents, it's in your study guide, it's about explanations of the basic of visual arts viewpoints or perspectives. Unit 2 is about examinations and demonstrations, how to draw pictures. As you know that your subject, the one that I'm presenting, it's visual arts, so it's many things. It's about drawing, and that is all where it starts. Unit 3, it's about clarifications and demonstrations of how to make models. That is when you are using clay or turf or those kind of things that you can mold to create things with the children. Unit 4, it's about illustrations and clarifying of constructing and collage work. Now this constructing that we are talking about here is the constructions of collecting boxes with your learners in class. Take some glues and some scissors, you cut and you can construct any model depending on the theme. If it's a house, then you can construct houses with boxes or any other thing that you can use to construct with. And this collage, many students mistakes that specific word with college. Actually, that word, read it as it is. It's collage, it's a French word, and in visual art, it's the other word for it, it's pasting. It's a matter of you tearing around papers and you are pasting it on a specific surface while you are creating a piece of art. Or you can take sticks and clothes, as long as it involves that specific process of cutting or taking another piece of material, sticking it somewhere using glue or something. It's a means of collage. Unit 5 is about discussing the aspects of teaching, how you should teach your art lessons, and how you assess the products or the artworks that students makes. Unit 6 is about examining the teaching, the learning activities and materials of visual arts for grade 1. So this is just a brief summary of what you should find in a book. Okay, as we continue, before we carry on, we will start with our first unit, which is about explanations of the basic visual arts perspectives or viewpoints. Now, what you should know, not everything in Unit 1 is covered here. It's only what we think it's the most important part of the information that you should begin with, that you should understand as you are studying, preparing for your assignment, or when you are reading the book in general, or for your exams. Now, if someone asks why learners must do art in early or primary education, give them that specific answer, and you can also refer to your readings that it's to express and to communicate with people through their art pieces. So we say what is art? Say art is it's a form and it's a content. So what do we mean when we say art is a form? We say art is a form because we see the materials, or that the artist uses materials or mediums and apply the elements of art and the principles of to create something that is attractive or appeal. So in other words, in your book you learn about the elements of art and the principles of art. So those are the two components that you will need for you to be able to create a piece of art. We also say that art having a content which conveys or that gives or that sends a meaning or a message of what the person or the learner who did that specific art is trying to say. Now, art and education. What is art education? Like that art as a subject falls within the beauty areas of learning and has a definite thematic links with other subjects. What is that supposed to mean? It means that you cannot necessarily teach art in isolation. You should have a theme, and if in that specific week, if the theme is about making housing, that means you will need to construct houses, and you need to find boxes, glues, scissors. You give to your learners and you guide them as they are creating their little houses. So that is actually what literally it means by it. It has a definite thematic links with other subjects. So now, visual arts education general goal is to enrich the round development of a learner through his or her creative work, the development of his or her artistic attitudes and abilities, the development of love, respect, sensibility toward creating or creative and artistic expression. Joel, what is that trying to say is that why should we teach art, or what is the goal of this specific visual art education? To enrich or other to encourage or to develop the learner's artistic or creative ability and attitude, so that one is able to be aware of what they can be able to make. Art education includes 5 distinct areas, but that is not all. We have got more than that, but in your book you find that the writer highlighted the most ones that I think are the most important at the early beginning of a child development. And what are these distinct areas? One, we have visual art, we have music, we have dance, drama, and appreciation of art. So what is about visual arts? Visual arts in visual arts, learners are drawing patterns, and they are drawing any other type of drawing using lines, patterns, colors, shapes, and texture and space. What do they do in music? They sing, and they express themselves through singing or playing instruments. And they also dance, which is an element of body awareness. Drama, a role about role playing, pretending to be a specific character that the learner is not really is in real life. And also appreciating art, that's about the learners evaluating and appreciating all art or forms or rather learners evaluate and appreciating all forms of creative art. Aims of art education. Now, in the first slide, in the second previous slide, here we spoke of the goals, general goals. And here it's about the aims. What does the aim or what is the aim of art education within the context of Namibia, I think. And we say that it's to enable the learners to contribute to development of culture in Namibia. Its symbol, each and every art piece, or whatever the learner is doing, it have got a motivation of the background of that specific learner. Through art, they always link it with their cultural backgrounds. It's also to promote the wider intercultural understanding, promote cultural awareness and appreciation, stimulate learners' imaginations and creativity. The general aims of art education includes, or it's informing you that art stimulates creativity. Through creative thinking is therefore when a learner can create an image of something new from the head that does not ever existed before. And also art provides an opportunity to develop self-expression, whereby a learner is able to express themselves, even if by not words, maybe because some learners maybe they have got difficulties or they are shy and they cannot talk too much. Through their art that they do, you will be able to understand what the learner is going through or what they are trying to say. Also, it provides an opportunity of self-expression, that is what we are talking about, and visual expression. Now, the difference between visual expression and self-expression lies that self-expression is within the individual's response to personal experience. What is the person going through? And how is that specific person responding to what they are going through? And that it can be done through talking, comparing that to visual expression. Now, whatever the learner is going through, they do that visually, and that is by ways of expressing themselves through visual samples. They can be drawing pictures there, depending on the situation that they are in, as long as their aim is to try and share that with you. And one of the aims also is that through art activities, a learner develop a hand and eye coordination. A learner is able to see and it's able to imitate what they are saying through drawing with their hands. Art also produce, one of the aims is also to create an opportunity for art and culture. The identity of a young learner is always linked with their culture, and that you cannot easily separate, because if a learner is coming from a specific different background, through that specific, all what they try to say or what they draw most of the time about is who they are, where they are coming from, their houses, their cars, their cows, depending on where it's always connected to the child's specific background. As we continue with Unit 1, now as you start with your learning about visual arts, you learn that there's a specific stages that are proven by studies that a child have to go through in order to develop fully with their visual arts. There are many there, but we have only selected that we think it will be important that we share it with you. We have got about 4 or 5 different stages in your book. That includes stage 1, which is of scribbling, that is between 2 and 4 years. And in this specific stage, you are not really expecting an image from a learner that you can identify that this is what. That's why under that specific stage, there is a disordered, you will see that there is most of the drawings are distorted. You see the lines there, the circulars there, but themselves, they are trying to say something. So as you can see that when it says distort, and then you see those dots there, it means that you as a student, you need now to learn further. Learn what is distorted is, what is longitudinal is, what is circular are, and naming are in that specific book of yours. And also the second stage, which is a prismatic stage. or symbolic stage between 4 and years. Here learners are somehow trying to develop now. They are no more just drawing lines crossing each other, but they are trying to find something, and in such a way you might be able to identify something. We have got a semantic stage, a further developed stage, and at this stage you are able to see whether the child is trying to draw a person or it's a cow. Not in a realistic way, because that is the next stage, but somewhere, somehow, the learner have highlighted the most identifiable parts of the specific drawing that they are trying. And then you have got the realistic stage, whereby a learner is more informed and they are aware, and they can think of what they want to do. And then we have got the stage, the deciding stage, whereby a learner, at some point, they are maybe finding now that art is not my thing, or I can already draw, I need to carry on with it. But it's a stage whereby they are aware of what they want to draw about. So learn this is different stages, and wherever throughout the slides where you see there is this dot, it means that statement is not ending there, it continues. It's for you to familiarize yourself with it. Go in your book, find the same information, then proceed, read. The descriptive of art artworks for children. Remember the previous stage we talk of how to develop. Now in this specific slides we are going to look at how you should look at that specific piece of art and what to expect. So it means that learners sometimes leave clues. We must all understand what clues are. Clues, it's like a hint that within the learner's piece of art, because they are so young and they cannot draw that well to an extent where we are able to identify what is happening, but at least there's some clues there, there's some hints that can somehow lead you to what the child is trying to say in their drawings, that can be interpreted by us. And also there are hidden messages that are more prominent in learners with emotional problems, such as the size of the object, the use of colors. So now, let's say if the child is somebody who likes the father a lot, and in their house the father does the most important things, and he does everything for them in their drawings, you will learn that maybe he can draw the father and the mother in themselves, but the figure of the father will be a little bit more bigger than the rest, and with a happy facial expression. However, if it's the opposite, you will learn that if this child is bullied or is being mistreated at home, you will learn that you will see some aggressive pictures in that specific drawing of the learner. Then that will give you a clue as to how or what the child might be going through home. And also the use of colors. Color is it's associated. Colors are associated with many different situations. In shared moments, you see that the learner maybe use most of the dark colors. In the happiest moments, they use bright colors. Because they are not really more into colors, they are not aware, but their feelings and what they are going through is what guides the colors that they might be using. The symbolism of colors, we need to learn to understand this. What does color means, or what do they symbolizes? That means our response to color are not just biological. They are also influenced by color associations from our culture. We confronted with color symbols, meanings, and psychological every day without even knowing it. If we hear about a new baby that has been born, ladies, you should know what. If it's a girl, you get pink clothes. If it's a boy, you got most of the blues and all that. This is all about colors, symbolisms, and meanings. Use of patriotic symbols, this more of flags, political inferences, metaphor or metaphors. You need to understand it, to know that specific word. What does this mean? Learners will often represent their experience and feelings through animals. For instance, the learner makes a visual comparison between a poor learner and a cat of a rich person. So they are not necessarily comparing learner to learner, but they can compare a learner to a cat or to any other things. That's why it's called a metamorphose. Previous stage used to talk of the clues. Now here there's a definition of what a clue is. That learners will often provide clues for things that they want you to notice. Just like I have explained this previously. It can be a positive or a negative clue, whatever that is going through. Collective memories, meaning that learners will be drawing about things that they went through, they have seen somewhere, and that is when they are drawing, they will be able to remember that. The eye of a beholder, learners will predict places according to their feelings and about things rather than how they actually look. They can make it more beautiful as long as they see or feel that beauty in them. Uses and psychological pattern of colors, psychological effects. Mystic believes that we emanate a color glows, personal preferences. Not only have we inherited cultural association, but we also respond to colors individually. Not necessarily because the color black is associated with mourning and funerals, that you cannot wear it when you just feel energetic and you just want to be in black. It's not always, regardless of the psychological and the cultural inheritance, associations. As ourselves have got our personal response to colors, so that we can sometimes, not necessarily because of a specific event that is happening, but it's just the color that you want to put on that specific day. We have got emotional effects, emotional effects of a specific color in an artwork. Symbolic meaning of the different colors, for example, red symbolizes excitement, energy, passion, love, desire, and all that. So in your book, you will also learn that they talk of pink and many other colors. It's for you to go through your book, familiarize yourself with these colors and their associations. It's for your own personal gain. Even when you are putting on something, you should know what the color it's associated with. Even if you find out that in the streets some people are looking at you with some other eyes, you can say that that is not the occasion. This time I just want to feel myself in this specific color. Elements. Earlier we spoke that in drawing or in visual arts, learners use, or artists use, elements and the principle of art. So you need to read about this, and then you need to know the difference. What are the elements of art? What are the principles of art? On this slide you will see line, color, shape, texture, space, and value or tone. Those are the elements of art. While the balance, contrast, dominance is part of the principle of art. Now, each and every element of art plays an important role in an artwork. They have got their functions there. That's why you need to go in your book, you read what is the function of line, what is the function of color, shape. Same with the principle of art. What is the function of balancing? What does balancing mean in the context of visual art? Not in the 50-50 situation, but within the context of art. You need to understand it from that specific point of visual arts view. Contrast, it's about colors. Which color between the pink and the black, which one is more standing out? And also dominance, what dominates the other contents within the art piece, depending on its size or the color that is used on that specific content. But those are principles and the elements of art. You need to go in your book, find them. They are not only those ones. These are only highlights. Learn about them. Then here we talk of also styles of visual arts. Now, in old days, visual artists, it was not just the same thing. So it develops from stage to stage, from style to style. That's why it says it varies from realism to abstract. When something is realism, it's just another word of realistic. When something is real, when it's abstract, it's figures that are given, and sometimes you are able to identify what the thing is, but without details, or sometimes you don't know what is happening in the specific piece of art. So for example, we have got a photorealism, we have a Baroque, we have got realism, we have got a cubism, painterly, impressionism, so all these styles, they are given in your book and they are described. You just need to do that. What is the style, or what do they mean by a realism style? What happens there? Or how its images are done within the realism style? How are they done in abstract? How are they done in photorealism? You need to read what is folk art. So you need to know the descriptions of all this all these art styles. The applications of visual arts in craft and advertising. It's indicated that this is a self-study. You need to go through that in your book there and find out how art is being applied in craft and advertising. What is attraction, attention, arouses interest, desired, creates desires, or causes of actions. This is most important aspects of arts and advertising. So it's a self-study. Go through that. In Unit 2, the phrase "a picture is worth 1,000 words" in education, that is very important. We are referring to education, not to other things. When you teach in primary learners, you will learn that those books have got more from the from the pre-primary to grade 1. You learn that this book contains more pictures than wording. And as the child progresses from grade to grade, pictures start becoming fewer, while the wording is becoming more. So you need now to go on in Unit 1 in your book. I think it's the first page, if not the second one, just after the brief of what to expect from that unit. You will learn about this specific phrase and learn it from that specific perspective. That what is the role that picture plays? What does it do in a child's learning? Also, talking of the basic colors of tempera paint. These are specific paint that a learner, they are not harmful and they are very safe to use by young learners. That's why they are especially highlighted. So there is a basic colors of tempera paint, resources, and painting tools. The colors, these are specific paints. Most of it is powder. Resources, what are the other resources? If it's not tempera paints, then we can say it's pastels, it's color pencils, it's other. These are the resources, the other colors that you can be used, like color pencils, like crayons, all those other colors that you can use if you are not using the tempera paint. And also the painting tools. This is what do learners paint? They can paint with their hands, they can paint with brushes, they can paint with sticks, we can paint with especially those plastic knives that we use in events. They can use that one to paint. So therefore, down here you have got the examples of what the basic color of tempera are. That is tool, red, sequence, and essential for mixing, and all that. That is information that you should read or be able to read on yourself. And like I said before, that moment you see that there are dots there, it means continue, find that specific information in the book and read more on that specific information. There are also other color resources, like I explained before, that other color resources we are referring to oil crayons, color pencils, chalk, markers, inks, anything that you can be used in an art class with young children. And then the painting tools are also listed there. Okay, now handling of these specific materials in your art class. How will you do this? It's obvious you should set up rules in there that should be followed. And this can be part of the duty chart in your in your class. It's not necessary to give each learner all the materials. You can put in groups and teach them their work states and how they can work in a group. Now, as you are learning, learn that there are different types of colors and patterns. I mean, different types of lines and patterns. Zigzag lines, straight lines, parallel lines, horizontal lines. And you have got now the patterns that are created by sometimes repeating these specific lines to create a specific pattern. Pattern, it's just any type of decorative element that you see on your shirt. Not so lucky enough, I'm only wearing a plain black, but the moment you have got some flowers there, some you have got some check stuff there, those are the patterns for you to see if it's repeatedly done twice or how it's done. So these are the examples of lines that you should look at, read about in your book, in your specific study book as you are preparing for your assignments and exams. And line activities for primary learner. While practicing pattern making in language, the learners also practice drawing smooth lines, give enough practice to trace or to dotted lines between the two solid lines. So this is learn about this specific time. What are the tail patterns, the difference between tail patterns and repeated patterns in your study guide. Different types of colors, the color wheel in your book that is built from the first three base colors, that is of yellow, blue and red, and you are informed that you cannot mix any other colors in the world to get those specific blue, red and yellow. You cannot mix any other colors to come up with blue or with yellow or with red, but all the colors can be formed once you have got those specific colors. So learn about the basic colors, what are the secondary colors, and what are the tertiary colors, and how do you create them. Because if you don't know, how are you going even to be able to learn or to teach your learners in class? Because maybe you will only be supplied with a red, yellow and blue already. It's because you are expected to be able to mix all those colors to create any other color that you need. Picture making, there are two authors there, Nell and Fender, that art and craft ideas and techniques. Again, find examples of these print making lessons that will be suitable for your learners. So, picture making, what do you need to make a picture? It's obvious, you need color resources, color or painting tools and all that. That's why they talk of finger paints here with tempera paint and big brushes, as long as you are creating a specific identifiable picture. Principles or perspectives in drawing. Perspective, in another word, is a viewpoint. In your books, you will learn about 3 to 4 different perspectives. So, or viewpoints, whereby you have one that it's big, then it's coming closer. It's a 1 point. When it's disappearing or vanishing, it's having 2 vanishing points. It's a 2 points of perspective. When it's have got 3, it's 3. So its perspective is one of the principles of arts as well. So there are specific terms important in perspective studies, and those are the horizon lines, the perspective lines, and the view vanishing points lines, as I was just explained now. Also, in a specific painting or a picture, there is always something that is called a focal point, the point or the center at which the picture is more attractive considering the rest of it. The focal point in pictures is called emphasis. Now, there are different types of emphasis that you should look at for you to be able to satisfy yourself and conclude that that is the focal point in your picture. we have got the emphasis of contrast, of contrast. That's now the differences between the colors. Which color is more stronger than the other? Between yellow and blue, which one stands out, or what is the relation between the two colors? That is actually, when we talk of contrast, we just talk of the differences between the two colors and how they appear. And we have got emphasis of isolations, another kind of placement. How are the contents within the drawing are placed? And this emphasis, I have only given you 2 examples there. And like I explained before, that mind these dots here, because they are saying find this information in the book and read more, continue, learn about the other emphasis of focal points. Also, by notifying this specific focal point in the piece, it gives you a good guidance as to how you can look at a specific painting or a drawing and be able to give a critic on it, or your viewpoints on a specific painting. Now, what is included in critic, or when you are analyzing a painting? There is a description. What do you see in the painting? Analysis, how is the work organized within the painting? Interpretation, what is happening? And the judgment, what do you think of the artwork? Now you have to know that this should not be personal, but it should be based on the specific piece of painting or of a drawing of a learner that you are looking at. You are not looking at to find bad decisions that were made within, or how they think. You are just trying to interpret and to describe and to analyze how the learner have used the specific elements and principles of art, putting in consideration your emphasis of viewpoints. How to critique or evaluate the work or the artwork of your learners. There's a specific checklist provided in your book, and you need to use that you should be able to look at the size of the drawings, or if it's people in the drawing, how are they drawn, and also look at the shape. And for professional artists, we also look at artist statement. What did the artist said about the specific piece of art that they have made? What is the title? What is the name of a specific painting? How you will relate now the title to the statement, and also to how the elements of art and principles of art were used. Now, as we continue, and we are running out of time now, how to involve learners in painting activities. Let's say you have got all the materials in place. How do you now involve? How do you now come in class and say, learners, our theme today is painting, it's houses, and we are going to paint our houses. So how do you go about that? An art activity lesson can be divided into following steps. Actually, there are 4 different steps that are highlighted for the learners or early development level. And one is that you need to prepare, and you need to motivate. You need to identify what could be the problem, and you need to practice and experiment or lesson planning. And you need to execute by the learners, evaluate and appreciate the reflections. So meaning that you need to prepare, and that is getting your materials together. You clear up the space. You need, if you have got only the 3 basic colors, you need to prepare the colors already. You need, if you have got red, blue and yellow, and you need green there, what you will need is to take a little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow. You put them together, you get the green. So that is what it means by experience. See what is going to work, but find this information in the book and read more. Now, how can art help to develop a self-image, communication, and group work? How an artist, or let's say a learner that is quiet by nature, does not talk too much, and like doing things by their own. Sometimes they also don't have enough confidence in what do they do or what they are doing. Now here the question is how, or the instruction is how art can help a specific learner to develop a self-image, to communicate, and also to be able to work in a group. So how is that can be done? So in the book, it's a long writing there that you should learn. It's because it's guiding you as to how you as a teacher can be able to help that specific learner to be able to pick up and feel important, and also what they are doing is it's constructing. So a learner's art, especially drawing, represents one of the delight of a childhood. Art creates creative solving problem skills, serves as an organizer, color, shape, and all that. So this is just the components that we look at as to how art can help a learner to develop. But you need to go in the book and see what are the benefits. How can a learner benefits, or what are the benefits that a learner that went through art activities is able to develop and the benefit from the art lessons. There is shape and the structures in the natural and man-made world, types of shapes you need to go in your book. These are things that you should be able to learn yourself, and only inquire when you don't understand. But you need to know the differences between the geometric shapes, the natural shapes, and the abstract shapes. So here, geometric shapes are those that you have learned mostly in mathematics. Those circles, those rectangles, and here the natural shapes that are more of human shapes, animal shapes, trees, and all that. And the abstract, this is linked to more of the, if you know, let's say we all use bathrooms at some point when we go into the malls and all that, and you don't really necessarily see. Sometimes it can be written toilets or something, but most of the time you see image. When you go there, you see that there is an abstract shape of that is imitating a lady, and already by yourself you know that no, this is where a lady should go in terms when they need to help themselves. And also one that imitates a man, and those are the abstract. There are no details given, but you are able to identify what the shape is about. And also you need to learn what are now designers use those shapes for. Say that they used to organize information, they used to sample to symbolize different ideas, to create movement and texture. And the dots appears again. That means find the information in the book and read about that specific information on your own. Now there's a specific relationship between shapes and meanings, or meanings or symbolism in arts. Shapes convey different moods and meanings, while often the meaning behind shapes is a cultural or a particular shape. Shapes are combined. So in your book, already this specific information or the specific sentence here gives you a hint. Is when you go in your book and you want to understand further the specific relationship between shapes and the meaning or symbolism in Kali, you start the moment you start by finding that specific statement that a shape conveys different moods and meanings. You should be able to carry on and understand the differences better, or the relation better. The value of creative activities such as modeling. Now, from I've been with IOL now, tutoring this specific subject for almost 3 years now. Students always confuse this specific modeling here with the fashion modeling. This is specifically for visual art purposes, and it's about using clay specific material, art material that you can use to mold something with small kids. It's not about fashion designing. And that clay allows a learner to learn to repair mistakes, because once they are building whatever that little mannequin they are building, the arm breaks off, they are able to pick up that specific piece and put it back. And that is how their cognitive develops, even in other situations that are not necessarily about clay. They are able to get back to the mistakes and fix them, rather than feeling down and all that. Therefore, cannot be able to make them. It's a problem through that learners also learn how they can solve those little problems. It's about discipline, because for a learner to be able to mold a mannequin that can stand, it involves a lot of thinking and how they should station their legs and all that. Coming effects, you have to be very concentrated and not in a rush. Otherwise, you won't be able to execute any specific product or art piece or with a clay, because clay is very flexible and it can react otherwise. How to involve learners in constructing activities. Now we have got modeling activity, and then we have got constructing activities. This is not a construction of building houses. Yet, students here, you make a lot of mistakes because you only think of real building constructions. You never thought of that this specific construction of learners, it's about collecting boxes. And that specific house that you construct with cement and others, in this specific perspective, you do it with boxes. You cut and you use glue to construct or to make a house. Maybe construction is the word that confuses people, but it's just to make houses or animals using paper or other simple materials that learners can use in a class. And also how to here we are having three different activities. We have got modeling activities, that is about clay. We have got constructing, it's about using boxes and other light materials that students our learners are able to use. And we are also talking about collage, not college, but collage. And other words, and I think you should write paste there, because this is about cutting or tearing papers around and pasting while you are creating a specific image. Okay, making your own teaching materials for junior and pre-primary schools. There are also some guidance in your book where I took this information that guides you as how you as a teacher can make your own materials. Now, when the statement says your own materials, here, most of the students, you divert completely from the information provided in the book and you just mention anything there, which is not bad. But it's good if you inform yourself first with the information provided to you, and then you can add what other materials or own materials that you can make. So the first teaching materials that you will need is posters. Posters plays a very important role in teaching at the early development programs. That's why in every class where you go, where you take your children to, there's always different types of posters, and they shape posters, birthday chart posters. These are so you need to find this information in your book and learn about these posters. Go to the nearest schools and chat to those teachers there and see what they use them. There are also different mediums. Actually, when you say mediums in art, we just refer to materials. That's why these mediums of making pictures, we refer to pencils, we have referred to color pencils, wax, ink, water-based paint, and oil-based paint, and all that is actually materials. Also, we have got participation, and I wrote there self-study. What does it mean in the specific area? Participation within the art lesson. It's about gathering students, give them one activity, maybe you divide them in 3 different groups or 4 depending on the size of your class, and then you let them do different activities in groups and see how each and every learner is contributing, how are they participating, and you assess them on that specific thing. So in the first theme in art, they said the first theme in art there, it's participants, giving children, we are painting, and then you give them paints, and you ask them to paint. But it should be one house that maybe 3 or 4 learners are painting on. Okay. So this is not the easiest concept to master, but maybe the most important one. That is now the participation, because students, learners, some maybe are not closer, some are shy, and they will find it a little bit difficult to blend in, but surely at the end they will be able to contribute. We have got modeling and construction. We said modeling, it's about clay. Constructing is about using boxes to construct something. You can construct a house. You can use clay to build a house. You can use papers and boxes to still build a house. So what are the differences between these two? What do you need and how is it done? That's why it says it's a self-study here in your book. Time now, but continue with the slides or on your own, and my contacts are provided there. I want you not to hold any back of any information or to hesitate to contact me. It's very simple to contact me. You can either send an SMS and then I will reply, or you can send me an email, and mostly with emails I reply with my cell phone number, so that only if we are engaged in talks we are able to settle most of the problems. But do that the moment when you know that you have got all your study materials in place, because you call me, maybe I will be not at home and not with my books. So I want you to be with your book, so that I will ask you to read for me whatever information that you don't understand there, and I will be able to explain to you. So even if we are not done with the slides, don't panic. You will get it, and please be able to contact me. Otherwise, I have covered the most information that it's needed. Even if when you read that, it says Unit 3, actually the information that we covered from the first slide to these specific slides here, making use of own materials, we covered the information from Unit 1 to Unit 6. So this Unit 3 here, it's just further information that you should look at your own, but most of the Unit 3 information, we have talked about them in the previous slides. So this is not necessarily something that you should worry about. Just make that a specific time, or use of the contact details, and contact me. So what you should do is get these specific slides, view the presentation, and if you don't understand, contact me on the cell phone number provided in your study material, or use my email address that is appearing here, and just get specific to the specific point that you wanted to raise. So far I'm very thankful, because many of you have already started with your assignment, and you are calling, you are inquiring, and you don't mind even if it's a good Sunday, you just call, and I like that. I am never disturbed by your calls. That's why I'm saying text, so that I will be able to call you back right away, or inform you that I will be calling you at what specific time. Otherwise, I wish you all the best for the year. My advice to you is that after submitting your assignments on the 15th, if you have passed your assignment that I have confidence that each and every one of you is going to pass, don't wait to go and write in November, or book straight away and write while you are at it. Don't wait for some time. Assignment is done, you are passed, you are qualified to sit for an exam, book and write and get done. And then worry yourself with other things again. Don't do the assignment on the 15th and then write the exam in November. Just do it at one time, and then that will even help you, because you just came from your assignments and you have received your assignment books. It's easier for you to continue studying already for the exam. I thank you.